Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Apex Racing TV. Alex Simpson, Conrad Venter. Deja vu, mate. That's what it feels like. Didn't we just do this a minute ago?
Yeah, different car, different track.
So it is. We're in the McLaren MP4-30, and we're at the Nurburgring. And I have to say, it looks glorious, but it's very, very overcast. And the track is pretty bumpy, and anybody who knows the McLaren will know the colder the track gets, the worse the car is over those bumps. And yeah, the pogo is real. So I'm sure with this weather, they're having a whole load of fun in qualifying right now. No little mini map yet, but 20 degrees overcast. 18 kilometers an hour wind. It could be colder, but only by about 3 or 4 degrees, and maybe if it was at night.
Track temperature is really cool. They're gonna enjoy all the extra grip, but like I said, especially the first lap or two is going to be really treacherous. We just did the broadcast with the Formula Renaults around Monza, and we were talking about the difficulties of turn one on an opening lap, and I don't think it's any different here, especially in the McLaren.
No, you're right. This is going to be exactly the same. All screaming down into that turn one. It's going to be interesting to say the least. Now, we were party to what was probably one of the best races I think we've ever seen on or commentated on together the other day in the McLaren. That Road America race was fantastic, and yeah, I kind of hope we get the same again. Although I think we're probably going to be looking at a no-stop race from everybody here, just purely because of the fact that the track's so cold.
Well, it'd be interesting or interesting to see if somebody there's a practice race and time for people to try stuff out. If somebody just takes a gamble and come into the pits, get new tires, and see what they can do with the lighter fuel load. But yeah, we've been treated. We've been treated to a real cracker on Sunday, and we've got the likes of Massimiliano Ficara here. That was in that race, as well as Istvan Balog. He was in there as well. So yeah, they know all about entertainment, and let's hope they provide some.
Yeah, qualifying looks pretty close at the moment. There's still a couple of cars circulating out there trying to get a final lap in. Mark Warmington is out there right now. Don't know if he's setting a lap or just perhaps getting some practice on the heavier fuel. Scott Newton as well. I think Scott's not gonna. He's just jumped over from the Formula Renault race as well. So talk about contrast in cars that you could have out there as well. So, but yeah, I don't think he'll make his lap. So, and I think the last time we come here, Nurburgring as well, we had a lot of issues with the flickering, and it doesn't seem to have got any better. So we're yeah, I'm really struggling with that, and I don't know what that is. So, anyone's got some ideas or some recommendations of what settings to try and turn on and turn off to try and help on that? I've obviously got the help reduce flickering option turned on. Seems yeah, it seems pretty extreme.
Yeah, I think one thing for myself, as I mentioned before, is at least the frames issue seems to have sorted it out a little bit on my end, at least. But
yeah, I'm still struggling a little bit when I'm actually sort of in the sim. Yeah, that does seem to be a bit of a pain. So having to turn most things off, but then that's because I'm greedy and I want my 145 frames if I can get it. So. Well, I think qualifying all but done. Scott, like I say, just doing a bit of a scout lap. He wants to have a bit of fun, I'm sure. This must be ridiculously late at night for him right now, because he's in Australia. So yeah, it's not late at night, it's just very early morning, isn't it?
Yeah, I was in a Formula Renault race around quarter to 2 UK time as well this afternoon. So he's been a busy boy over the last sort of 16 hours. But yeah, qualifying's all done. We'll just run through the starting grid for you quickly as they line up. We've got Massimiliano Ficara on pole position with a 1 minute 30.6. Julio Ornelas behind him Only 15 thousandths of a second behind him in second place. Lars Boll in third place, Finnick Kern in fourth, Mark Warmington in fifth place, Andreas Rinks in sixth. Got Andrew Curry in seventh, Marcus Dreschel in eighth, Max Arma in ninth, Istvan Balok in 10th place, Sebastian Gesh, we just saw him, the Formula Renault as well, in 11th, and then Scott Newton and Clive Morrison 12th and 13th place, respectively, not setting any lap times.
I think, looking at that right now, I think there's a few people there struggled to set a time in the race, in the qualifying, sorry. And it's easy to get caught up like that as well. Obviously, the guys only have 3 laps, so 2 attempts to nail a lap. Just waiting on Mark Warmington. He's not quite made his way to the grid yet. I say, Conrad, this turn 1, this is going to be pretty tricky. 40 laps around here as well. Warmington going to start from the pit lane, it appears. Some problems for him. But Julio gets a great start. Yeah, drivers for Phoenix there. Launches it off the line really, just beats Ficarra down and into turn 1. And you were worried. And no problems whatsoever.
Yeah, everybody is through cleanly again. I think that's a first for us, like the Formula Renault around Monza. Clean racing through turns 1, 2 and 3. Mark Warmington has who's Max Arma start from the pits?
It was Mark who started from the pits, definitely. And yeah, Max just he had some sort of moment there, but just slipping back a little bit. Right, Curry alongside Istvan, having a great little battle between the two. That's for 5th and 6th place. All of a sudden, they seem to have dropped quite a chunk off of the front, and Julio there must have had some sort of mistake, because all of a sudden he's right back in the thick of things. He's got Lars Boll trying to get by him through the chicane, and Ferenz there as well. And Ficarra is 1.1 second down the road, so I don't quite know what happened there. We turned our head away from the front for a second, and it's all changed.
Yeah, even I missed that. I just I was looking back at what might have happened to Max.
As Lars just steps out big time, and I did say that turn 1 was going to be tricky. It can get a bit bouncy there just at the best of times, but this cold weather, just the way the tyres work, they just naturally pick up that much more grip in this type of temperature. They just makes the bouncing and the pogo and whatnot just that much worse, and the guys really will struggle a little bit there, and I think that just caught Lars out. The car just hadn't settled itself down, but he lit the rear wheels up, hoping to use all that extra grip, and yeah, it just wasn't settled down yet.
Alright, I've had a little look back to see what happened to Max Arma. He had contact with Marcus Dreschel in going into turn 1, which sent him off into the kitty litter. He is back running down. I'm not sure. He had the car half on his side, so I'm not sure if he's going to be carrying any damage. Front wing doesn't look too great.
So pointing out, if anyone wants to get involved in these races, they're more than welcome to. Any Apex Racing Academy member can jump in. Doesn't have to be the 2.0 members, so if you fancy a little bit of race on a Friday night in either of the Formula Renault or the McLaren, you can do so. Just sign up to there and you get head into the league, so a bit of extra little bonus.
Oh, we've got Lars Boll and Ornelas going side by side into turn 1, and then Ornelas is next to Kern. It's all clean though.
Yeah, all this squabbling just letting Ficarra just disappear up the road. You can see him now 2.8 seconds clear. Like, you know, Spot will be there saying what's going on behind, and you'll just be loving hearing this right now. Nice little, you know, 3-second gap is ideal for you to settle into your rhythm and just start pushing on.
Oh, Nero's had a really good start. He just got a little bit of hairy through this fast SS section. Got on the track and got off the track and got the car a bit sideways. And he's been looking a bit out of sorts since then.
Having a look here, this is Scott Newton and Andrew Curry having a little battle out there as well. Now some serious overspeed here as well. DRS not easy through that section there. You can lose the back end really quickly, and yeah, and the battle going on further back as well. I think that's Dreschel and Sebastian there. I think they just sort of maintained the position they were in. Warmington struggling, just you know, I think he just had a mistake that last lap. Yeah, 142. So all the positions that he gained just dropped. So he's kicking himself out there right now. Oh, as the under braking closes right up to Sebastian. Difference in speed between the two.
Oh, we've seen quite a few incidents of guys just getting a bit greedy on the exit of the corners, and then putting a tire on the AstroTurf or the grass, and then the car completely stepping out on them. Just had Scott Newton coming out of the last corner on this last lap and doing exactly just that. I think he's lost 3 places because of it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a replay of that up actually. I noticed he dropped back, so probably just hadn't gone far enough back. Oh yeah, exactly. Big moment. Well, I think he just hit the wall as well, didn't he? Hit the Arco there, so he's got a little bit of damage on the front left. But as we know from this car and all the other races, it doesn't affect you too much. You can get away with that one, so he can still pull a no stop off. But if he wants an extra pit stop, then it's going to cost him, because it's about another 6 seconds to get your front wing changed. Looks like Clive Morrison dropping down the other. Oh, that's extremely tight going into turn 1, and it doesn't end well at all. Julio there just tagging the back of Ferenz Kern, and Ferenz is around. I think he's going to continue. Will have heated up his tyres, but that was 3 into 1. Did not go there as well. Esteban getting in on the action. Take a little look at it back and just see exactly what caused that to unfold exactly as it did. So Ferenz just dives down the inside. So I think it's more Julio there just late on the brakes, trying to hold on to his position from Esteban, and so late that he just runs into the back of Ferenz. So, but Ferenz continues. Doesn't look like he's got any damage on that rear wing. You'll be a little bit miffed in that car right now, and we'll have to wait and see if he can catch up. Well, actually, Julio's already let him back past, just off camera there.
Yeah, and Balak, he was one of the 3 cars going in there. He managed to miss everything and then make a mistake and losing the positions again. So at the moment, between these 3, is they're fighting for 3rd place, but nobody really wants it.
Yeah, and it's really just pushed the broke the field apart. They were not too far behind Lars, who, it's fair to say, is starting to close back in on Ficarra as well. So that's kind of what we want to see. If these 3 can continue battling, it'll be great. And Ferenz moves way offline. Doesn't want the guys getting any draft whatsoever this time. And look at the closure speeds going down into that turn 1. So difference in lines and braking techniques, everything coming there as well. Some choosing to brake a little bit earlier to make sure they've got maximum grip and don't overheat the tyres. Others really pushing the brake in there. And it looks like Esteban had another little slide going through the turn 3 there. And easy to do there, because you really it's a very deceiving corner. It's such a late apex, and it's very slow, and you have to be really patient. So sometimes you just want to throw it in and it just doesn't stick.
That's exactly where he had his little moan on the previous lap as well. So obviously turn 3 not agreeing with Istvan all that much. One guy to keep an eye on at the moment is Mark Warmington. He qualified in 5th position, and we mentioned he started from the pits. He's managed to make his way all the way back to 8th place now, and he had a bit of traffic on that final lap, but he should slowly but surely be making his way back up to rings.
Yeah, I think looking at sort of his past lap times, like you say, he should definitely be able to move forward. Would like to see him up and around sort of. I think P5 is going to be a bit of a tall order unless those guys carry on battling and losing time like they did a moment ago. But there's a potential for it.
Let's see what his lap time is. Andrew Curry doing a 35.7. Rings at 35.8 and Warmington was 33.9.
Yeah, huge difference.
Yeah, that lap time, that lap time currently puts Mark Warmington as the 3rd fastest guy on track, with the battles going on between 3rd, 4th, and 5th. They're all slugging it out, lapping in the mid 134s.
Yeah, he's only 15 seconds behind 3rd place, and I know that seems like a lot, and it's only lap 7. But of course, he started from the pit lane, so he lost an awful lot of time there, and he's had his little moment, didn't he, as well? So I think, like you say, if they carry on battling, there's every possibility that he could get back to them, especially if he can manage his tyres, run a no-stop race, and some of the others decide that they want to take some fresh rubber. They're doing all this battling, all this dirty air driving. Who knows?
Yeah, Mark Warmington is. I know he's got his YouTube channel. We've all become very familiar with him, and I've been more accustomed to watching him racing the GT3s and the Daytona prototype. But he's really sort of committed himself this season to this car, and I mean he's been making great strides forward so far. So it'll be really interesting to see how he gets on for the rest of the season.
Yeah, of course, next season again, just a bit of a fun season, nothing really going on too much, but for those of you that are interested and might want to work your way up and figure out exactly how the Pro Series and the Pro System works and how you get up and into the World Championship, well, the iRacing Grand Prix Series will eventually lead to that, but season 1 through to 4, it's all really just much of a fun series now, where it used to be the road to pro to a degree, and now in season 4 there's going to be a separate standalone series where there's going to be a couple of key races per week, a bit like they did the Blancpain Endurance qualifying series so sort of successfully in 2015, and from that you can get yourself qualified into the World Championship directly. So no Pro Series to worry about. That effectively replaces that. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that little switch works. Only 10 licenses up for grabs though, and 10 pro licenses, which won't guarantee you a grid spot by any means, but you do have an opportunity to run. So probably a little bit harder to get into the series now with the rule changes, but nonetheless, yeah, still a lot of fun. And if you want to race against the best, then you head over there and exclude me from that.
Well, we can't do that. It's what's this last performance you guys had, and some really good results for the team. Where was the last run? That was Road America.
Road America. Yeah. It was a good race all round. I think we got, was it 7th, 9th? Sebastian wasn't there. Peter got back up to, was it 14th, 15th, something like that, after pretty poor qualifying. I unfortunately had my graphics glitch, which set me back from 12th down to about 18th, I think, which was unfortunate. And yeah, Martin made his way from right on the back of the grid up to 19th. Oscar got his first result in as well. So yeah, all in all, yeah, pretty reasonable race. Mixed bag again. I don't think we've ever had a race where everything's gone according to plan.
Yeah, right from the start of the season, which was Interlagos, like I say, we've sort of had a mixed bag of results in terms of drivers, but it sort of seems to level itself out in terms of who has the respective bad weeks. And Sebring certainly for you was a good result after a not so good Interlagos, and was it Phillip Island? I can't remember what you did around there.
But Phillip Island just messed qualifying up really badly, and I think 33rd or something crazy on the grid, and I think I got up to 33rd or 34th. I think it was 34th, and I got up to 20th or something like that by the end of the race, and that was with a spin that set me back as well. So yeah, just qualifying all important as well. So any tips and advice? Certainly, season 4 really focus on getting a good qualifying, especially in that series. Just avoids a lot more of the accidents that happen at the start of the race. And while obviously race pace is extremely important, half of the battle is getting that qualifying down and getting it sorted.
I tell you what, from a viewer's perspective, for us to see sort of the likes of Graham Carroll and Peter Berryman, getting in those top 10 results. Graham Carroll obviously very unlucky around Phillip Island, running out of fuel on the last lap. His result there should have been a lot better. But it's nice to see the team sort of up there and competing for these single figure positions, at least 2 or 3 drivers each week, and it's wonderful to see the team getting that kind of exposure as well.
Oh, great little battle here, side by side. Istvan is going to have to hold it around the outside of the final turn. He does exactly that, moves himself up and into 4th place there. Julio made a mistake through the chicane, and that really cost him big time there. So Istvan moving forward, as he has done pretty much every race we've seen him in. Very, just I think sort of the consistency out. Stop getting those little mistakes, and he's going to be very, very quick towards the end of the season.
Yeah, I suppose practice races like this does help for that to sort of just get yourself into that rhythm for the rest of the weekend to try and build some kind of consistency. And talking about consistency, has broken away from Balak and Julio. He's at sort of 4.5 seconds up the road from them. You see Mark Warmington, he's just caught up to the back of Andreas Rinks. So it might be worth having a look at a battle for 6th place.
Yeah, being quite considerably quicker the last few laps, but struggling to get by. We've seen that as well. You can have quite a bit of extra pace, but if you can't get by really, really quickly, you kind of get stuck in the rhythm of the car ahead, and it's more about trying not to hit them than it is to overtake cleanly. So I wonder if Mark should just back it up a little bit and then go at it again. But he is really close through here. He should get DRS down this straight.
Sorry, Alex. And while that is going on, they are both going to be making up 1 place. Julio has just dropped the car. Yeah, dropped the back end as they were coming through the RTL corner, and he's back in the pits for some repairs.
Take a quick look at that back, as Warmington did indeed make the place. Far enough, let's go further. And it looks like Andrew Curry had some problems out there as well, so we'll switch over and see what that was. Oh yeah, well, I think that's pretty much, well, it would be race over for Julio, but the guys do have 1 fast repair in this particular series. So let's just see what happened to Andrew Curry as well, because I say he made a mistake somewhere. Yeah, we won't want to see this on the broadcast, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, that McLaren's crabbing a little bit, isn't it?
Well, I'm just watching the replay back, so I think we're gonna witness. Oh, do you know what? Look at that! Identical to what happened to Julio there. So both drivers just getting little bit out of shape, and I wonder if into the pits is Andrew as well. I wonder if perhaps just a bit of a change in the wind direction. We are in a dynamic session, so can happen, but massive impact, changing the balance for both of them there, and just speared straight into that wall.
Track temperature has gone up from 19 to 20 degrees. I don't think that's going to make much of a difference, but it does show that there is changing weather out there. It's almost like somebody dropped a little bit of oil just mid-corner, which has caused the back end to step out.
Yeah, I would love to see things like that added in as well. You know, last week we were talking about little extra features that we want to have included, and you know, like you say, a little bit, you know, engines going bang, a little bit of oil here and there, and things like that. You know, with how the track evolves, I think yeah, that would make an interesting little addition.
I think if you see a car going off into the gravel trap and come back on, and they bring all that gravel with them, and you know, next car comes through and drives through the gravel, that it shoots up into the underside of the car, and you hear all those little noises going on. It really helps with the immersion of the sim.
I'm quite looking forward to trying the new, you know, the consumer version of the Oculus Rift as well. So Julio out of the pits after his toe puts him a lap down, unfortunately. Well, 2 laps down, in fact. Just looking at the front two as well, as Lars just runs extremely wide through turn 3. Actually lost him 0.7 of a second, so just that little mistake there. He's been sort of around about 2 seconds for quite some time, so I wonder if Vicara is just managing that gap. Wants to pull away, but just keeping an eye on the tyres a little bit. Like I say, if these guys are going to go for a no stop, then you just can't go hell for leather out there, or you've got to keep a little bit of life back.
Yeah, I think Vicara has been around. We've sort of been covering him since the start of last season in the Grand Prix series. He's an experienced hand with the car. He'll be knowing what he's doing in there. And like I said, just managing the gap, you know, push a little bit when he needs to. Other than that, just getting the laps to tick over and look after the tyres. Make sure all is well, keeps it out of the walls.
Yeah, it looks very comfortable actually in there. Let's just go for a quick lap on board with him, because yeah, he does look very, very happy with the car. Just going through the chicane, nailed both apexes, but head on towards the street. Tiniest little lock up into one, but that's fairly common. Nails the apex through, tricky left-hander as well. Getting so awkward this one, where you have to be so patient getting that car turned in. Watch the off track on the left-hand side there. Car being nice and careful. Car looks pretty good.
Oh, he's got some
back marker off as well. That'll keep him on his toes. I think that was Sebastian ahead of him. So again, lap looks very tidy, I have to say. No real major mistakes, and you know, I think that's the thing we picked up on, and last week as well, is that he's extremely consistent. This is why he gets good results. You know, it's not all about raw pace in this car. We've seen a lot of drivers make mistakes, and if you can just nail your lines all race long, you know, you're going to be there or thereabouts at the end. You can avoid the mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, just riding on this with this onboard lap, I mean, his input just looks so sweet, aka Jensen Button, and it makes it look so easy. But I bet if I get into that car, yeah, it won't look like that. It'll look more like somebody's driving the car with their feet in their hands.
Well, they often say, don't they, if you you know, if you look fast and ragged and things like that, actually you're probably slow, but you know, the smoother you look, the faster you are, and certainly worked there. Made a little mistake through the final final chicane. You won't mind me pointing that out. Just clipped a little bit too much of the curb on the right, unsettled the car for a moment, but was on top of it pretty quickly, and yeah, back on his way at 132.6 was that lap as well. So pulled away some what was that, 0.6 of a second from Lars behind, who sat 3.3 seconds back. So wants to close that door, close that gap, and whatnot, but just can't seem to quite manage to make it stick. Ferenz lapping about the same sort of pace as Lars as well now, so of course they lost a whole boatload of time at the start of the race when they had their little accident, and we've been battling.
Yeah, I think the cars that are closer to each other on track at the moment is third and fourth. And they covered by 3 seconds. Mark Warmington is a man in no man's land at the moment. And we've got Andreas Rinks in sixth and Marcus Reschel in seventh, covered by 2 seconds. Yeah, it's either they're the cars that's closer to each other on the track at the moment.
Yeah, good to see Marcus in there. I'll tell you what, Marcus sitting, while we're doing it actually, let's just quickly talk about championship standings, because Marcus is actually quite high up there, and that's again due to consistency more than anything, and just another example of exactly why being there or thereabouts makes the difference. So currently sat in third place actually. Sorry, my mistake. On 80 points. So if anyone's curious about how we work the points out on there, so the whole idea actually of the Academy 2.0 races is that it's just sort of a bit of a warm up for the weekend, so the guys know exactly what a race distance is going to be like, and exactly what the car's going to do on the tyres. It's final little bit of preparation. If you saw my videos that I did in week 13, so it's all about this the preparation and making sure you know everything you need to know before you go into a race. And but we thought we'd throw a little bit of league standings in there, a little bit of a league race, and try and make a bit of competition out of it as well. And we thought, well, why not we broadcast it? So yeah, of course we had to throw some points at it. And looking at it, Ferenc Kern actually leads the championship on 95 points. So a podium finish will do him no harm whatsoever. Morrison is in second place, and Joshua third, Andrew Curry fourth. Julio is in fifth, tied with Daniel Wensing. Wensing hasn't been able to make this race tonight. Yours truly is in seventh place, and Mark Warmington is in eighth. So just to explain how the points work as well, is we actually have two races on a Friday night. It's not just this one, and the first one's broadcasted, but after that you can enter the later race, so if you're in a slightly different time zone and whatnot. And every week basically we have one drop race, so your best one race counts, and pretty much the same as the official series. It's your best 8 races or 8 weeks of 12 that count. So some lot of opportunities, but it adds a nice little bit of competition to it as well.
Yeah, I'll be jumping into the second Formula Renault race a little bit later on. See if I can add to my tally of points that I score around Phillip Island and Zandvoort. And it's nice. It's not, the guys do the race here, and it's obviously preparation for the weekend. But it's nice to just have a little side project going on. Get awarded a couple of points for completing the race, and see how it stacks up at the end of the season.
And of course, Conrad as well. We when the pros jump in the races as well, we do the whole I beat a pro deal as well. So unfortunately, no one managed to pick that one up on the last race as well. Martin managed to beat everybody, but yeah, the team T-shirts and things like that coming on quite nicely.
I was meaning to ask you about that. Are current team members that don't have pro licenses eligible for that T-shirt?
Talking about putting me on the spot, I shouldn't see why not.
Because let's face it, my chances of beating the pro drivers pretty much zero unless I recruit a couple of other drivers to perform some dirty tasks on them.
Yeah, I shouldn't see why not. It looks like Ferenc Kern into the pits, so he's decided he's not going to make it on one stop. Doesn't want to risk it on no stop. Sorry, doesn't want to risk it. Comes in just before the halfway mark, end of lap 18, start of lap 19. So gone on about his way. Puts him. Oh, that's going to put him 53 seconds behind the leader. So that is close on to about 23 seconds, 24 seconds for a pit stop loss there.
Yeah, I think he was from pit entry to exit. I got my timing screen telling me 28 seconds.
Yeah.
Station for 5 of it. But yeah, Max Alma into the pits as well. Last ball making the pit stop as well.
But Lars doing it. So let's see if Ficaro really throws the gauntlet down and tries to stick it out there on a no stop. Really push these tyres, but he's got a little bit of a gap, so he can at least give it a couple of laps. When he knows that everybody's coming in, then he can jump in as well. It seems you've got an ally as well. Clive said he'll help you nail a few of them, mate.
Oh, fantastic. So where are we? Road Atlanta. Road Atlanta is next week, and that turn 3 chicane, or it's a turn 3 chicane. Accidents can happen there.
Oh yeah, they can. I know all about accidents at that particular chicane, I tell you.
Yeah, especially in a GT3 car.
Yeah, exactly. Don't mess.
It'll be interesting to see with Balak has stayed out, Lars Balkan, they've both been into the pits. Would want to see what their lap times are going to be once they cross the start-finish line again. Obviously, anybody that watched last Sunday's broadcast around Road America on for the Grand Prix series will know that Ficaro was one of the drivers that decided to not make a pit stop. So he's obviously good with the tyres. We've seen how drivers.
He was one of the drivers who did make a pit stop actually, and fought his way back through, didn't he?
I'm gonna have to look this up.
I'm sure he did make a stop, as did Istvan as well. So Oddod made a stop and made progress, but there was barely anything in the two strategies as Lars has a look on the inside of Istvan here. The fresh rubber just giving him that little bit extra traction out of the chicane there and back up and into second place. So he's got 30 seconds, I believe it will be, when crosses the start-finish line and everything updates. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, 30.1 seconds that he's got to make up. Yes, we'll keep an eye on the lap times. I just can't see that. We're talking, well over a second a lap that he's going to need. It's closer to a second and a half.
Hey, he made that pass on this one look really, really easy. But I guess the lap times will be in the lap times that we get an indication of what's going to happen. When Ficaro lapping very consistently, he's still in the 32s, only sort of 4/10 of his fastest lap.
Yeah, Ferenc obviously pitted a lap before, and he has set a lap on the fresh tyres, and it's a 1:32.8. So. Certainly a little bit quicker, but only by a tenth or so. So that might be what he needs, looking at the lap times, to get back up to Istvan though. So which would at least get him a podium. And like I say, as far as the points are concerned, that'll be a pretty good race for sure.
Hey, we've got a couple of guys out there, the likes of Mark Warmington and Andreas Rings, and Marcus Dreschel hasn't taken a pit stop. They the 7 cars, top 7 is still on the lead lap. Hey, just keep an eye on 8th, 9th and 10th as well, even though they're a lap down. Especially between Clive Morris and Andrew Curry, they are separated by 6 seconds at the moment. They've just got the potential to, bunch up together, especially since Andrew Curry's only been in the pits nine laps ago, and Clive Morrison is on tyres that's 20 laps old.
Clive's into the pits as well, so did wonder. I saw someone coming in. I couldn't quite tell who that was for a second, but yeah. Sides enough is enough on those. Pushes it to lap 22.
I'm just frantically clicking away, try and find those results from Road America to see who the stoppers were and who wasn't.
I think it was just mainly the Movano guys, wasn't it? And Diego Oliveira who stayed out, if I remember rightly. They had a good battle. Gobby stayed out, wasn't it? I can't remember his teammate's name off the top of my head. But yeah, I know obviously Wensin pitted from about 3 or 4 seconds in the front, and sure it was. I'm sure Ficarra pitted as well, as did. Can't think.
Yeah.
I want to say Maris, but I'm not sure it was Maris. I think it was somebody else.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Ficarra came in. It was around Motegi that we saw him trying to stay out. He scored a 6th place.
He's not stayed out this time, Conrad. We missed that while we've been trying to figure out where we pitted at the last race. He's just pitted. He's come out half a second in front of Lars as well. So going to need a sort of a half a lap, 3/4 lap just to get the pressures built up back into that sweet spot as well. So perhaps a little bit vulnerable, but 4 laps fresher tyre should be able to pull away after that. This is Lars's opportunity definitely to make something happen.
And just there we see how much of a difference the fresher tyres make.
How often do we see this as well? We talk about it every race. I think, you know, the sort of the lull in the middle of a race, and then once tyres and pit stops and strategies and wear rates and mistakes, everything settles itself into a bit of a rhythm, and all of a sudden the race comes back alive again.
That's one thing you worry about each and every week when you see everything just calming down halfway through. But this car has just made such a difference to the rating on the iRacing service. Every week, without fail, the race comes back to us and provides ample entertainment, as was evident on Sunday.
Those that are tuned in and want to get involved in the car as well, just obviously head on over to the iRacing forum. There's a bunch of setups there. There's a setup shop, and people are sharing sets, and we're in there as a team as well with sharing sets each week. It's gradually getting better and better and better as well. We're just sort of doing a sort of a video class, if you will, throughout the season, just sort of how you can slowly progress and improve your setup, focusing on each area every week. So those video streams are there and archived for you to reference back and try and work along with as well as the setup and the high speed laps and things like that. So something that we were trying to do for the community, and it's unfortunate the Formula Renault with being such a huge success as well. There's a lot of drivers focusing their attention on that at the moment, and it's a little bit quiet, I have to say. With last week was the first 3 split race we had, wasn't it, this season, which was great to see, I have to say.
I think the Renault has been. I mean, we all knew it was going to be a popular car and it was going to be a hit with the community, but it's a little bit more popular than any of us expected, I suppose. I mean, I'm seeing people on track that I haven't seen in the last 2 years all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's just a better version of Star Mazda, isn't it? Which is just what you want.
Oh wow! You need to make your a PM account private, because the hate messages from the Star Mazda community is going to flow in thick and fast.
Yeah, let them. I can handle it. I drove that car probably in about 3 or 4 races, and that was me. I was like, nope, Sorry, never again. I know it got better in the last few seasons, but yeah, when I was driving, it was terrible.
You know what, the poor Star Masters, we've moaned about it a lot. I know on our forums as such, and I just what surprises me is I've gone back and we all have this little program which pulls up various different stats from your iRacing career, and for some funny reason the Star Master is the car that I've done my second most amount of races in. So obviously there's something about it that just sort of sucks you in every now and again, and you do a whole bunch of races and then you get sort of disillusioned with it again and throw a hissy fit and go do something else, but you'll come back to it eventually.
You know, crazy enough, talking about cars that you've done the most racing in, I think the car that I've done the most racing in is still the old Dallara IndyCar. When I was having a look at that, as the same program that you were talking about, I can't remember what it's called now.
I'm sure if Clive's watching the stream, he'll let us know. I can't...
Yeah, come on, Clive, tell us what the software is that we use to check our stats and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's Racing Rivals, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
Racing
right,
Rivals, that's it. If anyone hasn't checked that out, go and do that. It just interrogates your database and all your results and stuff like that, and finds out who your rivals are and how many times they've beat you and how many times you beat them, and what's your favourite car, which ones you've gained the most I rating, which ones you've lost the most, and tracks that you're best at, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's a great bit of great software. I love that. But yeah, I was shocked when I looked the other day. I fully expected it to be the Williams, to be honest, by miles, but it was still the IndyCar.
I think we sometimes forget some of those older cars, how good they were. We didn't appreciate them too much at times while they were still in active service, but yeah, you go and you look back through your results and you remember some of the great races that you've had in them.
This battle at the front is not going to go away anytime soon, so Lars definitely got the bit between his teeth, closed right in, of course, with the pit stop strategy. Pitted 4 laps earlier and caught all that time. Couldn't quite get the jump. Ficarra with fresher tyres, I really expected him to pull away, but it just seems like Lars is using the DRS, and Ficarra trying to break the slipstream. Just wants to get back out of that 1 second zone. It's hurting him right now.
Yeah, Ficarra managed to build up a nice, comfortable lead before the round of pit stop started coming up, and by just staying out 3 laps longer, he's brought Lars right back into it, and he's given Lars a sniff now. So it's up to Lars Ball to make use of that opportunity and keep himself within touching distance. And if he's lucky, maybe Mr. Ficarra will make a mistake, and he might be able to sneak past, but. Like we mentioned before, Ficarra, very, very smooth driver, very consistent, and I think Lars is going to be lucky if he can pressure Ficarra into a mistake.
Yeah, Ferenz is closing in on Istvan, but not quick enough, unfortunately. So it's about 7 or 8 tenths of a second a lap on average. So he's going to get that gap down quite considerably, but it still seems as if Istvan's going for this no-stop strategy. Just needs to hope that his tyres stay holding together. Really, that's going to be the key thing. If they fall off towards the end, could be in a right amount of trouble. But I'm surprised more haven't tried to do a no-stop, Conrad. With the track being so cold, the tyre wear is right down.
Yeah, we've only got the one driver out, well, 2 drivers out there that hasn't made a pit stop. That's Istvan Balak. He's in 3rd place. He hasn't made a pit stop. He's looking like he could well hold on to 3rd place by the end of the race. And the other is Scotty Newton, who's sat in 12th place at the moment. He's had a few off-track excursions, but he hasn't been into the pits either.
Yeah, he's stationary as well.
So, by that definition, he has made his way into the pits.
Yeah.
It's just mechanics just standing there looking at it, not doing anything.
At 28 of 40 here then, Nurburgring. And it's Ficarra with 4 laps fresher tyres, who's leading the way. Not able to break the gap. He pulls away through this infield section. Gap goes up to about 8-9 tenths of a second, but get into the DRS zone down this back straight, and then again into the main straight. And the kid just slips back down to half a second every lap. So he's a good 0.3 of a second faster through the infield, but the DRS keeping him close. Although Lars just instantly makes a mistake, bit of a curse perhaps on my part. And there we go, 1.7 seconds. So in just one corner, you go from really putting the pressure on to almost gifting Ficarra there a little bit of comfort. For good measure, Ficarra puts the fastest lap of the race in as well.
I'm just getting some news through from Scott as well that his race came to an end due to too many incidents. I think too many trips through the through the kitty litter has caused him to be disqualified from the race. But he says the pogo effect on the track in these conditions is very real.
Yeah, I bet. Just having a quick look at Max here as well. Max Armour currently sitting 8th place, closing in on Andreas Rink right now as well, 1.4 seconds. So I think those two will have a little battle, although Andreas just pulled away a little bit that lap. And they're only 10 seconds behind Marcus Dreschel, but Marcus is lapping considerably quicker at the moment.
Sorry, I'm just getting a few extra messages from Scott through here with when the temperatures are as cool as they are at the moment. I mean, do you find it easier to lock up the tires than we do in a session where the temperatures are a bit hotter?
Not really. Not on locking up. I certainly haven't found that. I think what drivers will have a little tendency to do is they know there's all that extra grip out there, so they just extend those braking points too far, and then you really have to yam on the brakes, I think, and that will cause the extra lock if anything. So you still want to roll the car into the corners but just roll it in at a much higher speed, so just brake less rather than later, I think is the key.
Yeah, what I'm getting through from Scott is just he said his tyres were knackered after 15 laps, too many lockups, but he blames that on not having a load cell brake, which we might have to address that comment later on.
Sounds like a good excuse to me, doesn't it?
It's valid. Yeah, I think especially with turn 1 around here. It's a heavy braking zone on the downhill as well. It's very easy to get those brakes or those tires locked up going in there.
The way that corner is as well, because like you say, it's not only downhill, but it falls away to the side as it goes into the apex of the corner. So you're always unloading that inside right tyre as you start to turn in, and then the track falls away and makes it, unloads it even more. And that's just what really causes it to lock up. But you'll notice, I think, on some of the test laps I did at the weekend, just getting ready for for doing the sort of the community setup and stuff like that, I noticed that you could afford to lock up down there. It didn't really pull you wide or anything like that, or push you wide. You're still able to make the apex because it's barely in contact or anything. So. Max definitely getting closer to Andreas, still 1.5. He really trying to push. It's a bit, one driver will pull away and then another will gain the next lap. So very even. I think if Max can get himself into that DRS, we might well see a bit of a battle go on, which we want, as Lars has lost touch of Ficarra at the front.
Yeah, and this battle between Max Armour and Andreas Rins. It's the sort of thing you want in these practice races. We've got it's only 13 drivers in the race, and there's quite a wide spread of abilities out there, and it's easy for everything just to spread out and you can get into a place where you're circulating on your own. Anyway, for these guys, they've sort of fallen into a spot now where they can compete with someone with equal ability. And this is exactly the kind of thing they need before going into races on the weekends, just to give them something to push for a little bit.
This is why we need more splits in this car as well, generally all around, even in the official races, because then you are racing people with your own ability. So yeah, I think as a community that watches, watches and takes part and gets involved, we really need to do everything to try and welcome new members to the car, because if we can get back to sort of 3-4 splits all through the weekend like we had in the opening sort of 5-6 weeks when the new car come out, then yeah, it really makes the enjoyment factor a lot higher.
We've just had Julio coming into the pits for his second pit stop. He's had a
He had to have a new car as
another...
well, didn't he? So it's probably sort of a scheduled stop, but a late one. So.
Ooh, yeah, he just got it all out of shape again now,
Oh,
going
no.
through the Schumacher Aces.
Oh.
Managed to keep it out of the walls, just a bit of grass, but how long was he on those tyres? I'm not entirely sure.
Not sure what happened to Max there in that second part of the lap. He just lost a whole load of time to Andreas. So different issues for the drivers out there. Was just a second behind, now 1.7 seconds. So what I will say, he's got an absolutely lovely livery on that. I don't know if you've seen Max's car. So top job whoever painted that. Looks really nice.
Yeah, some of the current Formula One teams out in the real world might take note. It does look like a very nice livery of an old car former manufacturer in Formula One.
Yeah, indeed. Big Jag on the side. Can tell you who. Let's take a quick look up front. 1.3 seconds. The gap has been creeping down. A couple more laps, and I think Lars is going to be back into the DRS. Pressure really on Ficarra now. He's not able to pull away. Last lap was definitely a bit scrappy. He lost 1 second, in fact. So perhaps a mistake, almost as they were. This is where pressure starts to get a little bit extreme, doesn't it, Conrad? Just 1.3 seconds, 8 laps to go. There's someone just there waiting for you just to make the tiniest little slip up.
Oh, that last lap by Lars it was a really good lap. And since Ficarra came out of the pits, he did one lap in the 31s, which was on lap 28. That was 31.7. Lars's tyres is 3 laps older, and his last lap was 31.8, a whole second quicker than Ficarra in front of him. It's not like Ficarra had a sloppy or slow lap. He's been pretty consistent with the lap times. Well, that was an amazing lap for the time in the race from Lars Ball.
Yeah, close to getting inside that DRS zone as well. We can see the live interval there, 1.0 seconds. Actually, just about got it. I think his DRS is open, so just nicks inside the 1 second limit there as he crosses the DRS detection zone, and all the way down to 7/10. So does have quite an impact, and yeah, races on, Conrad.
Yeah, another lap from Lars in the 1:31s, and I caught Ficarra by 0.3 of a second on that lap, and with this one he's going to have the DRS to assist him as well. So he can, if he's keep this up, we can expect this gap to come right down, and they've only got 6.5 laps left.
Yeah, better lap from Ficarra, just trying to stem the closure speed there, but like you say, just still losing 0.3. So unfortunately, it looks like we lost Max. He made a mistake as well off camera, so that battle has died out further back. There's Rink pretty comfortable. He's 6 seconds behind Marcus, but he won't close that up by the end of the race. The difference in tyres. So yeah, let's focus on this battle.
Yeah, Max just looked like he lost the back end in the first part of the Schumacher races. So with the speed he was carrying, there was a straight as an arrow into the barriers. That was the end of this race.
Yeah, again DRS for Bolt, and he didn't close up as much as he did there. Ficarra runs just a little bit deep. struggles to get the car back over to the right for turn 2, but does so half a second. Even if you have a little bit more pace, unfortunately, when you're 5-6 laps to go and somebody's half a second behind you, you just spend too much time, don't you, just checking everything behind. Got to focus on what's ahead of you and just nail your own lines and start to pull away, but it's too easy just to get drawn into keep an eye on that F3 black box or the mirror.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how many times somebody tells you not to pay any attention to it, it's impossible to do. It's a magnet for your eyes, and you want to see what's going on behind you. You're looking at the lines that Lars is running through this lap. It seems like he's putting in a real effort to sort of hit the apexes and get as close to the curbs on the inside as possible.
Again, another run down here, 0.4 of a second back. He's going to be getting very, very close. Still not close enough for a move, but maybe down and into turn 1. Oh, he just catches both curbs there and gets himself all out of shape. So pulls back to 0.9 of a second back as well. So he knew that he had an opportunity. That was as close as he's been. He needed to nail that chicane. Just perhaps just piled a little bit too much pressure on himself there and slipped up. So still 5 laps to go, more opportunities to make that happen. They're coming up to a bit of traffic ahead as well. You never know how that'll play out.
Car in front is Mark Warmington. No doubt he will know that the 2 leaders are coming up behind him, and he's got enough experience. He'll know what to do when the time is right.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened to Mark, because his pace tells me that he shouldn't be where he is right now. I don't know if he had another accident or something later on in the race. He's only had the 1 pit stop.
Yeah, there was a few laps that suggest that you had a 1:46 on lap 17 and 1:38 on the next lap. There were a couple of laps just to suggest that he might have had an off-track excursion and lost a little bit of time to put him in the position he's currently in. Yeah, there he goes. Pulls off the racing line, lets the 2 leaders through.
Yeah, didn't want to get involved in their battle.
Just looking at 3rd place as well at the moment, Islam Balog. He's the only car out on track who decided not to make a pit stop. And Ilken in 4th place is closed the gap down, but it's only down to about 13 seconds right now. So smart move from Balog to remove himself from that battle he was in by staying out when all the others pitted. And well, as the ball gets a little bit squirrely, but hey, good call. Should be on for a podium spot here.
Yeah, he made the tyres work, hasn't he? That's the thing. So this goes to show can be done. I mean, overall, is he any close? I don't think he's any closer to Lars and Ficarra than he was when they sort of decided to pit, are they? So I think he's lost about the same sort of time that he's gained, roughly. I think they were like I think they were like 20 seconds back, weren't they? So
yeah,
I
think you're right.
I guess what you can say, he has gained, because obviously he was a bit slower even in that first stint, and he dropped time anyway. So to have maintained the time difference between the two for the second phase of the race, actually, it does look like that if you can keep it out there, it is a bit quicker than having a pit stop. Getting tasty though. 4 laps to go. 3 as they cross the line. 0.8 of a second. Getting back into that area where he's going to be close enough to be able to make a move.
Wow, watching these guys, and as a driver of this circuit, trying to figure out what the preferred line on exit is out of turn 1. You see 2 variations from Ball and Ficarra, one running it out wide and one trying to keep as tight as possible. Do you have
Oh, we lost
any
Mark.
suggestions?
Mark's dropped connection. Unfortunate for him, we lost him off TeamSpeak as well. So I'd be gutted with that as well. You know, nice solid run all the way, 3 laps to go, and then your connection just decides to go. That sucks. And as for lines going through turn 1, no, mine are different every time. I know what I want to do, but actually getting the car to do that is not so easy. It's definitely a very tricky track. That first sector, very awkward on the flow. I have to think. You know, the old. I'll bring it up again. The old Williams car would be rather lovely through there. That extra bit of downforce just might make it a little bit easier.
I mean, they're coming down the main straight. We're going to see exactly that coming into turn 1 now. Ficarra's one of those that kisses the apex and then runs it out wide, whereas Lars just keeps it a lot tighter and sets himself up a lot better for turn 2.
Yeah, that's the difference there, isn't it? Yeah, so Ficarra basically having the gain in the time in the very first corner, where like you say, Lars really focuses more on the exit of turn 2, which in turn will help with a little bit with turn 3. So yeah, contrasting lines.
Both the leaders coming up to a bit of lap traffic. I'm not sure if this is the best place. Andrew Curry getting out of the way rather nicely for them. Oh, we just see Ficarra running wide. It's the second time he's run wide out of that corner, just coming back before coming back onto this back straight.
Get away with it a little bit there. There's no grass out there or anything else like that, so you know, they're kind of like the Spa syndrome, isn't it? You know, with like no name corner and things like that. You know, if you mess it up going in, you'll take the 1x because this doesn't lose you any time.
Yeah, you have no issues keeping your foot in there if you see you're going to run wide. You'd rather take the 1x before losing a tenth or two.
On to the last lap of the race, and I have to say Ficarra pulled a little away that lap, 0.2 of a second, even with the assist for the DRS for Lars. Not sure he's going to do it. He's going to need a little mistake from Ficarra, and it almost looked like for a moment like he just got a little slide going into turn 3, but as he hits the apex perfectly, it's just going to be a deceiving camera angle, I think.
Yeah, it really has been two very good drives from both these drivers. Ficarra with a very steady and smooth hand, making very few mistakes. Lars getting himself back into the race by virtue of an early pit stop.
Yeah, all not quite over. I mean, Lars will get a little bit of DRS down here. Try and close him back up. You can see it just seems like such a long way second is. If there's a mistake from Ficarra going through this chicane, then it's all back on. Anything can happen in the last corner, no issues whatsoever. So again, just the final corner to negotiate here for Ficarra, and he'll take a win here at the Nurburgring. Set himself up nicely for the weekend's racing on iRacing's official series. Don't forget to tune in to the Sunday broadcast as well. Lars will take second place. He'll be delighted with that. I think strategy really opened up the race, but so there will be a man out there who will be absolutely chuffed, and that's Esteban in third place as well. Made those tyres last 40 laps. Very, very impressive indeed.
Especially if you consider the kind of battles he was involved in the early part of the race. Managed to keep his tyres intact and earn himself a podium spot.
Yeah, teammates of Lorenz and Marcus come across in 4th and 5th place as well. They'll be happy with that. Andreas Rink finishes the race in 6th. Oh, he will do. Sorry, not quite there. He's coming to the final chicane now. Only 2.3 seconds behind Marcus, but it looks like he put a little challenge in there to try and close him in the end, but just couldn't quite do it, unfortunately.
And the last person that was going to cross the line, very unlucky man, Mr. Mark Warmington, managed to make his way back onto the track, get out there for another lap, and he'll claim 9th spot.
Oh, well, at least he finished the race, I guess.
That's a commitment.
Well, pretty much as we predicted, mate. The start of the race pretty exciting. A little low in the middle, split strategies out there, spiced it up to a degree, and yeah, really a good close. But Ficarra, I think, just had Lars covered in the end.
Yeah, I think he timed the pit stop just perfectly. Gave himself that extra 3 laps and came in just in front of Lars Ball and managed to keep the lead until the end of the race.
Right, thank you very much, everybody. We're going to cut this one pretty short, pretty quickly, because we all know what races started on our one. Just run over a little bit right now, but I'm sure that race will be ever so exciting over on the other iRacing live channel. Just go to their page and just hit the button at the top. That'll switch you over. But from myself and my co-commentator here, it's been yeah, great nights racing. We've all enjoyed it a lot. Looking forward to the official series this weekend. We won't be back next week, of course. We forget these things because the whole team is down at Silverstone, aren't we, mate?
Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's like you mentioned last week. We've got a couple of rigs down there as well, and yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Meet up with some old faces from when we were there 2 years ago, and meet up with some new ones we haven't seen before. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Awesome, thanks, buddy. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And we'll see you, yeah, in a couple of weeks' time. Where we are, poof, no one knows. See you again.